This week, I'm going to lead you through a practice for strengthening the legs and releasing tension around the hips. We're going to start by focusing on creating some strength in the legs with standing poses, and then we're going to focus on releasing tension around the pelvic area. Let's get started. We're going to start the practice today in a standing pose. Props-wise, if you have 1 or 2 blocks, that might be quite useful, especially in the end when we do a supported back bend. So if you have any blocks or even small pillows, then bring them next to your mat. Other than that, we don't need any props. And we're going to start in a standing pose. You might be facing the front of your mat or the long side, wherever you have some space to open arms sideways. And just find a comfortable Tadasana pose, mountain pose. You might slightly soften your knees and then bring one hand onto your chest, bring the other hand down onto the belly. And we'll start with a few slow, calm breaths here. If you feel that you can still balance on your feet by closing your eyes, then feel free to close your eyes. And take a few slightly slower breaths in and out. Focus on what the breaths feel like, especially in your hands. Check that your shoulders are soft. And also notice how the weight feels on 2 feet. Can you feel your breaths all the way down the soles of the feet? Let's take a couple more breaths in and out. Just letting your feet, your legs ground. And then after your next exhalation, you could open your eyes, you could release your hands, your arms down. And a few times rock the weight from heels to toes, toes to heels. Bring the weight back to center and then rock the weight from one foot to the other. So from right foot to left, left foot to right. Looking for what feels like center to you now. And then leave your weight at the center. At this point, you could face the top of your mat so that you have space to open your legs lengthwise wider apart. And I'll take 1 breath in, lengthening arms up. And then as you exhale, bring palms together and bend your knees into a chair pose. Sending your pelvis back, a slight bend in the knees. Same again. Inhale, straighten the legs, reach your arms up. You might look up, bring palms together. Exhale, bend the knees. Find another gentle chair pose. 2 more times, just waking up the legs. With the in-breath, lengthening arms up. With the out-breath, bring palms together, bend the knees, and really send the weight back. Make sure you have weight on your heels. 1 more time, inhaling up, pressing the feet down, and exhale, 1 more chair. This time we're going to stay 3 breaths in this chair. Again, check you're not just sending the weight forward to your toes, really keep the weight on the heels as well. You might lift your toes off the mat, pressing down through the balls of the feet and the heels. 1 more breath in and out. And then with the next in-breath, lengthen up again. Now leave your arms overhead. Hold your left wrist with the right hand, and as you exhale, bend to your right into the half moon side bend. Now focus on grounding down through the left foot. Release tops of the shoulders away from the ears. And then with your next in breath, lengthen arms up. Exhale, release the arms down. You can roll the shoulders. Same to the other side, keeping your feet, your legs active. Inhale, lengthen arms up. Hold your right wrist with the left hand. And exhale, now bend to your left. And here you might feel that opening from your hands all the way down to that right foot. Grounding down through the right foot. Take one more breath in and out. Soften the shoulders. And then inhale, lengthen back up. And exhale, release the arms. You can roll the shoulders again. And now come closer to the top of the mat. We're going to step into warrior one. And we're going to leave the right foot at the top of the mat and step your left foot back. It doesn't need to be a very long warrior one. Just find a place where you can ground down through both feet. Your right foot toes and knee more pointing forward. The left foot, so the back foot, maybe diagonally pointing the toes towards the side of the mat. When you feel grounded, inhale, lengthen your arms up again. Exhale, bring palms together in front of the chest. And then as you inhale, lift onto your right foot into warrior three. Sending your head forward, lifting the left leg up. Right knee could be bent or straight. Next exhalation, step the left foot back down into that warrior one. And same again. As you inhale, lengthen arms up, maybe opening the chest a bit more. Exhale, bring palms together in front of the chest. Next in breath, lift into that warrior three. Again, long line from head to your left foot. As you exhale, step the left foot down again. One more time, warrior one. And with an in-breath, lengthen arms up, open the chest. Exhale, bring palms together. You're really grounding down through that right foot. One more time as you inhale, lift into warrior three. Opening the chest away from the mat. And then as you exhale, now step your left foot down, but also step your hands onto the mat. And we're going to go into a downward facing dog. And here you could pedal your feet a bit. You could shake your head from side to side. Maybe stretching the calves a bit. Before we do those warriors on the other side, let's go and visit a camel pose. Exhale, bring your both knees onto the mat. You could leave your toes tucked under, or you can relax your toes. Bring hands behind your pelvis on the lower back. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, find your camel, a gentle back bend, leaning your shoulders back. Also leaning your pelvis back. Just one breath in that camel. And then with the next in breath, come back up. Exhale, step your hands on the mat. Lift your pelvis back up into that downward facing dog. And then we're going to walk our hands to the feet. So our hands come closer to the back of the mat, finding our feet. Round your back into a full forward bend. Here as well, legs could be extended or with a slight bend in the knees. Counter pose for the camel. Take another breath in and out. Still feel the legs, the feet are active, just like in that chair pose. And then as you exhale, bend the knees quite deeply. Inhale, lift your back up. Reach arms up. Open the chest. Exhale, bring palms together in front of the chest. And then you can release your arms all the way down. We're going to go into that warrior one, warrior three combination on the other side. So now we're going to first rotate the right foot slightly open. And then step the left foot far forward or into your warrior one. And I suggest having feet about pelvis width apart rather than in one line. Now press down through that left foot. Make sure you can see the big toe from behind the knee. As you inhale, lengthen arms up. Bring palms together. Exhale, lower hands in front of the chest. As you inhale, lift into warrior three. Now standing on the left foot. Reaching right foot back. Reaching head forward. And as you exhale, step that right foot back down into warrior one, grounding the heels. Inhale, lift the back, lift the arms up, open the chest. Exhale again, bring palms together in front of the chest. Ground down through the left foot. Inhale, lift into warrior three. Again, remember, you don't need to straighten the standing leg knee. Sometimes it's easier to connect your hip to your foot if the knee is slightly bent. Exhale, step the right foot down. One more round with your own breath. Inhale, lift the arms and back up while pressing both feet down. Exhale, bring palms together in front of the chest. Inhale, lift into one more warrior three. Reaching head forward, reaching right foot back. And then from this warrior three, step your right foot to your left foot. Lift your back up, reach arms up, open the chest. We're going to exhale, fold forward. So full forward bend. You can bring hands down, you can bend your knees. And then walk your feet back into a plank pose. Long line from head to heels. We're going to go down onto the belly. As you exhale, bend the elbows lower down. Inhale into a cobra pose. It could be a small cobra. You could lift up into a bigger cobra, listening to your back. Keep legs active. Exhaling down. Then inhale onto hands and knees. Tuck the toes under and send the pelvis up into another downward dog. And here again, you might pedal your feet, press the heels gently down. And then we're going to visit the balancing gate pose. From downward dog. Now, as you inhale, lift your right leg up into the air behind you. Exhale, bring right knee forward and bring the shin on the mat. And step your right hand a bit further forward, so that when you turn your pelvis, your chest to the long side of the mat, your right hand is roughly under the right shoulder. As you inhale, lift your left leg up into the air. And you're balancing here. Either stay here, or another option is to bend the left knee, reach left hand to the left foot or ankle, and then very gently, you might kick that left foot back, opening even more through the front line. You might look down towards the mat. Keep that left buttock gently active, opening the front of the left hip. Take one more breath in and out. And then as you exhale, release the left foot down. Bring your both hands on the mat. And we're going to step into a brief downward dog. And we're going to stay in this downward dog just a few breaths, but moving our feet. We're going to inhale, lift the heels up. Exhale, gently drop the heels down. They don't need to touch the floor. Same again. Inhale, lift the heels up, strengthening the calves. Exhale, bring the heels down, opening the calves. One more time. Inhale, lift the heels up. Exhale, bring the heels down. Feel the weight of the heels. And then we're going to inhale, send the left leg up into the air, going into the gate pose on the other side. Exhale, bring left knee, left shin forward. And then we're going to step the left hand a bit further forward. And inhale, turn pelvis and chest to the other long side of the mat. And you have those two options. Either hover your right leg in the air so it's long, reaching away from the head, or bend the right knee, reach right hand to the right foot or ankle. And you might find a bigger opening through the front. You might use that right foot gently to kick back, but listen to your knees, your hips, your back. If neck is tense, you can look down towards that left hand. Take one more breath in and out. And then as you exhale, bring your right foot back down. Turn your chest, your pelvis to the mat, and we'll step into our last downward dog. And from that downward dog, bring your knees to the mat. Now you could cross your shins, your ankles, or sit onto one hip so that you can bring yourself into a seated pose. And then open legs into the butterfly shape. And here we're going to first do a couple of flying butterflies and then a forward bending butterfly. First flying butterfly, we're going to step hands behind the pelvis. This is a bit like a reverse tabletop, so find your hands in a place where you feel you can then press down, open your chest. So hands pressing down, inhale to open your chest. As you exhale, lift your pelvis off the mat. You can keep your heels still down, the soles of the feet together, pressing down through the outer edges of the feet. One more breath here. And then as you exhale, lower your pelvis down. We're going to go sideways. We're going to lean onto the left hand, and now you might rotate your fingers in a different direction. And then as you inhale, lift your pelvis up so that you might lift onto the toes in that right foot, left knee, left shin on the mat, left arm pressing down, actively rotating both hips open so buttocks are active, thighs are active. Take another breath in and out here. And then exhale, slowly release the pelvis down. We're back in that butterfly. We'll go flying on the other side. Step your right hand on the mat somewhere behind you. And now we're going to inhale, lift the pelvis up. So most of the weight is on your right knee, right shin, and then your left foot toes on the mat. So the left foot is very active as well. Again, buttocks are active, rotating hips open, right arm pressing the mat away. And breathing here. You might look down to the right hand again if that releases the neck. Take another breath in and out. And then exhale, slowly bring your pelvis down. And now we're going to go into a forward bending butterfly. You decide if your feet come close to the pelvis, or maybe you have your feet a bit further forward. We're going to inhale, gently open the chest, and then exhale, lean forward. Allow your pelvis to tilt forward. You could walk your hands either in front of the legs, or you can have your hands around the feet. Pause for another breath in, reaching head forward. And then exhale, you could round your back if you want. If you feel like that's too much at this point, then just keep your back extended. Focus on that opening in the legs, maybe buttocks, in the thighs. And breathing. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Take another couple of breaths in and out. And after those couple of breaths, slowly roll the back up. You can help with your hands to close the hips. And then we're going to come lie down on the back. And this is where, if you have a block or a pillow, bring them next to you so that when you're lying down, it's easy to reach for them. We're going to do an active bridge, and then for the second bridge, you have an option to use a block or the pillow under the pelvis. Feet roughly hip-width apart, arms next to your sides. As you exhale, press the feet down. Lift your pelvis, lift your back off the mat into your bridge pose. If you want, you might bring hands together, walk shoulder blades closer together, but really keep the activation going on in the legs. Feel inner thighs hugging towards each other. Not squeezing them together, but just they're almost magnetized towards each other. We have that activation going on from feet through inner legs to buttocks to spine. Take another breath or two in and out. And then as you exhale, slowly release your arms, bring the back, bring the pelvis down. You could swing the legs a few times from side to side. Or if you feel that you want to round your back, you can hug the knees in and then maybe rock from side to side. See what you feel that you need now. Now, next option would be the supported bridge. If you don't have any props here, that is very fine. You could do a reclining butterfly without any props. So your choice. If you want to go for the supported bridge and you have props, then we're going to lift the pelvis off the mat and bring the block, the support under the pelvis and lean pelvis onto that support. If you don't have props, just leave your pelvis on the mat and then we'll open legs into the butterfly shape. Now that we're not using arms to press down, we could bring arms overhead or out to the sides. You might gently rock the pelvis from side to side if that helps to release tension. Make sure there's no pain in the back. Make sure it's still easy to breathe. Again, you're not holding the breath. Wherever you are in your pose, take a few more breaths in and out. And check the neck, the shoulders are soft. And then after those few breaths, slowly close the legs. If you have arms overhead, bring your arms down. And then if you have a block under the pelvis, just make your pelvis a bit lighter so you can move that block aside. And same as before, if you feel like at this point you want to round your back, you could hug the knees in. You could even go for a happy baby pose. Or if that's not really needed, then start to look for your resting pose, your Shavasana pose. And when you find your resting pose, check that you can relax your body. And if not, still you might adjust to shape. You might also roll down onto your belly if you want, or you might lie down on one side. Where do you feel? You could give yourself couple of minutes to rest, to relax. If you are lying down on your back, you could do the same as we did in the very beginning. Bring one hand in the belly area, the other hand closer to the chest. And focus on feeling your breath in your hands. And close your eyes. And take a moment to just breathe here. checking in with yourself at the end of the practice. Noticing how you feel. Making that observation without judgment. And I'll invite you to stay here for another 5 to 10 breaths at least. And then you can decide if you want to stay longer or if it's then time for you to close your practice. And either after your 5 to 10 breaths, or when you feel ready to do so, you could slowly start to move your hands, your feet. And if you don't feel quite ready to let go of Shavasana pose yet, just stay there as long as you want, as long as you need today. From moving hands and feet, you could now extend your arms overhead along the floor. Reach your legs long. Give a gentle stretch for the whole body from hands down to the feet. Then when you feel ready, roll onto one side. It could be the left or the right side. And slowly bring yourself up into a seat. Into your own final seat, wherever that is today. See if you could find a shape for the legs that would allow your hips to stay soft, where you feel you can rest your spine on top of the pelvis, rest your shoulders at the top of the spine, and where you feel you could have some space for another few breaths. And if it's a part of your practice, you could bring palms together in front of the chest. And as always, at the end of the practice, most importantly, thank yourself for bringing yourself onto the mat, into your body and your practice today. And I thank you very much for joining in. Namaste. Thank you.